the devil's advocate topic.
Yes, the devil's advocate topic that we're going to talk about today in our first segment, which is devil's advocate.
Oh, we're recording. Okay.
Am I supposed to open something?
No.
I'll open it. Okay, it's open.
Okay, I love that for us. Cool. Welcome to Humor Highwire. As previously spoken, we're starting today with a devil's advocate. I don't know what the topic is, but we're doing it.
Yeah, I do know what the topic is, actually. It's completely pre-planned, which is why I was just writing it down. In addition to having a nice, kind-spirited little debate here, we're also going to be, as a matter of fact and factually, diving into Hold the Presses, where we are going to be discussing something that's trending. And I don't know if either of you have been paying attention to the recently leaked top searched terms on YouTube. But of course, number one or number two, it's like really up there on YouTube right now, is Donald Trump. So we figured what better to cover than the Don himself, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
I feel like that's misinformation. DJT is the biggest. He's always the biggest. Never
That's
been
true.
the smallest.
Very
He
tall.
could never be second. So he's probably the most searched person on YouTube, Google, X, Facebook, where you can also find us.
You can find us on all of those mediums.
Things. Go to all the places. We're there. Yeah, so everybody knows we're talking about him because he can run a sub 4-minute mile because he has the same body composition as an elite level athlete. But we're going to get to that first. We need to be the advocate for a devil. But even before that, this.
It's time for the Humor Highwire.
All right, so what do we got? What are we talking about today?
All right, gentlemen. So here is how this segment of Devil's Advocate is going to be working. You two are going to be having a kind-spirited debate. You are going to each get 2 minutes per segment of the debate. You are going to get 2 minutes to each make an opening argument for your side of the debate. After you make your opening arguments, you are then going to get a chance to either extend your argument or react to the opposition's initial argumentation. You'll get a second window of that, and then you will get a chance to close. Now, I will give you guys the debate topic, and then we are going to use a tried and true modem of selection in order to decide who will be
up the picker wheel.
Who is going to be
picking which side though?
Yeah. We got there. All right. So the debate topic is going to be that you're going to be picking which medium is better for storytelling, film or book.
Ooh.
So the side that you're going to get to defend is going to be dependent on pick order for this picker wheel.
Okay. So we're gonna figure out who gets to pick their side after this.
It's time for Devil's Advocate.
That one was better. I like the
Yeah, it's a good
That's
one.
a good one.
I like the brief
All right.
inhale or exhale right at the end there.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good. I put that there on purpose, or whoever made that put that there on purpose. All right, can you guys see my wheel?
I can see your wheel. It's a beautiful wheel.
Okay.
Wonderful colors.
Some would say the greatest.
Greatest wheel to everyone.
All right,
Hey,
we're gonna give this thing a spin.
advertisements,
We'll
on the screen here.
we'll cut it out. We'll
Yeah,
like
they're great.
superimpose
They're
our
great.
own stuff over it.
All right, here we go. You got to have all the sound effects for this thing. All right.
I get to choose, right?
Yeah.
Book. Taking books.
Shocker. Okay.
Taking books.
And Matt, since Ian got first pick, would you like to start or go second?
That's a great question. And I plan to answer that question.
Okay.
We're going to go with second.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm queuing up a 2-minute timer.
Just so everybody knows, we don't know what the topic is ahead of time, so we cannot prepare at all. Just putting that out there. Because
all right.
I think this.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your
because
thought.
of the order in which we're doing this. I think this is the first Devil's Advocate that they're going to get to see. So,
True.
just so everybody knows,
Right.
How is that true?
it is. Yeah, because this one is going to skip
true.
the line.
That is true.
Yeah.
Is it?
Because we're talking trending topics. So it's
Wait a
time-bound.
minute.
So it's going to be the first Talking Heads one too.
Hey everyone.
That seems a little weird because we're going to go swiftly
Yeah,
back to not
yeah, it is.
talking.
It is
heads
going to
right
be.
after
It's going to
this.
be weird, but it's fine. It's cool. Everything's fine. Don't worry about
So, glimpse into the
it.
future.
This is what you get to see after like 4 or 5 more episodes without seeing it.
Very soon. Very soon. Sooner, very soon.
So soon.
You are going to be graced with 2 faces and a beautiful clown every single week.
Yes.
You lucky people.
He's a German clown too, so it's the Clown.
Yeah,
So everybody
very true.
knows. It's wonderful.
The deep lore of the show.
Mhm.
Dude, don't call me German because Hassan Piker's gonna take that.
Yeah, can we just not with this guy for one episode?
Enemy of the show.
just for one.
Hassan Piker.
Can we just for one episode not bring this guy
Dude,
up?
he's gonna call me names. He's gonna call me names, and I'm not ready for it. He's gonna say, "Isn't that the guy?"
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Isn't
I don't
that
want
the
to.
guy
I don't
who's
want to
never
finish the
revealed
sentence.
his face on YouTube?
Yeah. The guy. The guy who talks about
Actually, fun fact: back like a few years ago, I think I actually did a stream with a camera, but I think that's lost media.
Bonus points to the first Russian person who can provide footage of this.
why a Russian person? Why?
We know who you are. We saw the downloads.
I mean, yeah, there's that, but
We love you.
thanks for listening. Maybe
Yes.
you just web scraped
Okay.
us. Who knows? But whatever.
Whatever the case. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, Ian, I believe you are first
I
on
am,
the clock.
I am, yes.
Your 2 minutes starts now.
Books being a greater storytelling medium than cinema in general, the very first thing that anybody is going to bring up is the fact that you have the ability to go way deeper and wider with the written word than you can in any form of videographic cinema, specifically because of cost. We live in a capitalist society for the most part, and if you can't get a return on your investment, then you usually don't create certain projects. So unless some production company is going to get back their hundreds of millions of dollars that they put into something, they're not going to create a production that could be really good. On the other hand, you have the printed word, which the cost overhead for that is much, much lower, and the distribution can go out for much cheaper. I mean, that's just a huge thing right there. You also don't have to rely on such a large number of people to produce the product as well. I mean, if you wanted to, it could just be a singular person creating a work. And additionally, the topics that you can cover in the medium of a book is much greater than you can in cinema because, again, things don't get created in a videographic format unless most people think there's going to be some sort of return on it. So creating like a documentary about something super obscure isn't going to do well most of the time, so they don't get made. But there'll be books about it because there are people that spend their lives learning certain things and then they write books about them. So the amount of information, just the sheer breadth of information that you have access to in the written word is greater than anything you'll ever get in cinema. I relinquish the rest of my time.
Well, you had 5 seconds left, so there was
Take
a
your
lot
5
of time
seconds,
left.
Okay. I think books are great.
And time.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't timing. You might have more.
That was about right. All right, Mr. Clune, you get 2 minutes for your opening statement. Are you ready?
No.
Okay. Well, we're gonna start. We are going to start now.
Okay, awesome. What am I defending?
Movies as the superior storytelling method.
I would argue TV shows too, any cinema.
Yeah, cinema.
So visual storytelling being better than written storytelling. Well, you could just convey more with the video aspect. I mean, there's so much that you can do. There's a saying for this, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. In most films are at what, 24 to 30 frames per second. So that's 1,000 words times that per second. I mean, like, you're already starting with a really high bar there. You can convey so much more information in such a short amount of time. They could be consumed with more people, which is great. I think both forms, and this is probably going to hurt me, both forms you can kind of like talk about with people who have experienced them. But like with films, you can experience them at the same time. Often with books, because they take so long to consume, you know, you have to like wait months to talk about it with friends, or not months, but you know what I mean. It takes longer. But films are also better at conveying things like symbolism in color, just and I would argue that they're a better form of art. There's so much that goes into filmmaking. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ian, you can either build on your initial argumentation or you can choose to start picking apart your opponent's statements, whatever you prefer here.
Okay. Let me know when my timer starts.
Your time starts now.
Okay. The notion that you can convey more through any form of cinema is only true based on an individual's aptitude. So, for example, in a novel, you could have a description of something, and your personal imaginated theater of what that situation is going to be different than somebody else's. In the form of cinema, you are shown what this is supposed to look like. For some people, that I'm sure that's great, but there's a special kind of customization that you get when you read a book, especially something like a novel, because the way that an author will describe something will resonate differently from person to person. And I think personally that makes that a richer experience. Being able to show symbolism through color and describe more things through the picture, again, that can be done through literature. I'm not going to stumble over my own words. Through literature, with good writing. Color is used as symbolism all the time in books, just because you aren't physically seeing it with your eyes doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And the notion that they take longer to consume, I would say this is true. Initially, they take longer to consume, but I would say to absorb, they would take a similar amount of time, because you can watch a 2-hour movie one time, and if it's a good movie, you can watch it 10 more times and pull more things out of it every time you watch it. Unless you are somebody who's gone to school for filmography and cinematography, the average person would take a lot of time and effort to watch something and pull as much out of it as is meant to be conveyed.
That's time. All right. We're going to now open the floor to the Clown to either rebut what Ian has said so far or continue to build on his argument.
And when does that start?
That starts now.
All right, cool. So one thing that I noticed you said back in your opening statement, books cost less to make than movies, so the distro can be wider and just cheaper in general. And to that, I would say cheaper isn't always better. Higher budget in movies can afford, just better things, depending on who makes the film. Like we're not talking about Disney right now. We're talking about like, like let's say you have an author and they decide, you know what, fuck it. Instead of making this book, I'm gonna fucking make a movie, and they have unlimited budget. They can actually convey more accurately in a film to their audience what they're imagining than if they were to write it in a book. Because when you read a book, your what you read is going to be like, you're going to portray that in a subjective point of view. What everyone reads, they create their own image of that. But if you're watching a film that's made by that author in this hypothetical situation, you're actually going to see exactly what they're imagining. So I would say that, yeah, probably the visual form is going to be better if it's made by the original author with unlimited budget. That's all.
Okay. So we're going to open up one more window of rebuttal for Ian. You both get one more window each, and then it's going to move on to closing statements. So Ian, I'll give you one more window to rebut or to build on your argument. And that time is going to start now.
Okay, so just to bring back the consumption argument, there's also a skill level based thing there too, and the advent of audiobooks. I know of plenty of people that listen to audiobooks on like 2x speed, and they can consume something very quickly. Or depending on your particular profession or whatever, like I've consumed 60-hour books in a week. And again, my personal thing, but still, it's possible. As far as budget equaling higher quality, that doesn't necessarily equate. And as far as the cost issue is concerned, there's even lower cost for distribution in our current sphere of distribution capability because of things like ebooks and basically the internet at large. Also, something I want to bring up, you're talking about being able to convey specifically what the author wants you to see or think. There are so many examples where that just isn't the case, where that just has not ever happened. Also, the majority of films, and for that matter, a lot of TV shows, are based off of books. So if the book didn't exist beforehand, the movie or show wouldn't exist in the first place. Again, harkening back to if there isn't a market for it, they're not going to make it in the first place. And as far as unlimited budget is concerned, that does not exist. There's no such thing as an unlimited budget. Now, I guess it was a hyperbolic statement saying if they have a huge budget, like Game of Thrones style budgets to make these things, then sure. But even that, they had a ginormous budget, more than a lot of movies get, and they still dropped the ball majorly at the end of the series. So, I mean, again, without the written word, we wouldn't have a lot of the movies and TV shows that people know and love today anyway. So
that's going to be time.
Okay.
All right. Matt, you're getting one more window. Just making sure you're unmuted. When you're unmuted, I'll know you're ready. Okay.
Always ready. I was
All
just
right.
waiting to see when it would be time.
Your time starts now.
All right. Ooh, I lost my train of thought already. Well, I'm gonna concede. Of course, most visual stuff has been preceded by obviously the written work. Specifically, what I'm talking about here is if the authors had the capabilities and they did go to a visual format instead of the written format, they would easily be able to better convey what they're thinking. I'm not saying like I'm not saying that the offshoots, because usually when something's adapted to a visual media, it's not the original author. It's someone who was moved by that work and now they want to produce something. So like in the instance of like George R.R. Martin, I think he had a big hand in Game of Thrones, but obviously he wasn't like the main guy, right? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the film slash show adaptation of Game of Thrones, obviously, so I'm kind of talking out of my ass, but he wasn't the one who like sat there in the director's chair, told the actors how to act during scenes or anything. Okay, so I don't know whether that's a positive or a negative coming from Justin over there, but so yeah, I'm just saying like authors could probably get a lot further if they just converted to directors and had the aptitude for it. I'm good now.
Okay, I'll interject before we go into closing statements. George R.R. Martin did not have much of a hand in directing the episodes, so you
He
are
did
correct.
not have much of a hand in the directing the episodes, but the reason that the show pretty much, I mean, it was still good-ish up until the last season that completely dropped off. The reason the first 5 seasons were fantastic is because they had the source material that they worked off of, and part of the reason that they like were so good is because they were contractually obligated to stay as close to the source material as they possibly could and still be able to have it cinematographically work.
Makes sense.
So that does actually lead credence to your argument that if the author has complete control of what content is created, it becomes extremely good. But there are even still things in.
Oh, we're off clock right
Okay.
now. We're off
Well,
clock.
my closing
All
argument,
right.
I can't attack him, so okay.
Okay.
Did we
So
already do
yeah,
closing
We're about to
arguments?
do them.
yes, we're doing closing arguments now.
I don't know how to
As a
do that.
reminder, at this point, we are no longer targeting our opponent's statements. Now we are just simply building on what we've said at this point, or taking this opportunity to finish off our thoughts. This is the closing statement. Ian, you're going to go first, and your time is going to begin now.
Okay. Clickety clacks. Okay. So, 4 major points that I'm bringing up again and some new ones. Consumption aptitude is based on the individual consumer. So somebody could watch a show and go, this is the greatest thing ever. And somebody else could watch it and go, I don't get it. Same thing with the written word. Somebody could read something and they go like, this just wasn't my style thing. Somebody else can read it and think this is a great work, a literary masterpiece. Reading scientifically is better for your brain than watching some form of televised or cinema based product. There's been several studies on this. It is better for your brain activity, your brain health overall. So if you care about that, scientifically backed, read books. You have access to a greater breadth of material, once again, because writing content has a much lower bar of production costs. So you have access to so much more. Easier access, free content. Again, there's things like YouTube and stuff like that. But even with the great amount of stuff that's on platforms like YouTube, it doesn't hold a candle to the amount of written content that is out there in the world. And it would do everybody so much better, I think, if they engaged with it more. I relinquish the rest of my time.
Okay. With that, once I see the Clown unmuted, then we can move to you, and your time will start now.
Okay. This is going to be a short, just brief little thing. I don't have a lot to say here. But essentially, my belief is that visual storytelling is superior for the fact that I've said this before, its ability to completely convey the story in an accurate manner, provided the material stays true to the source, if there is any. You can convey so much more in so much less time than you could in written. You can cut shit out that like doesn't really like have any credence to the story. Credence, is that the right word there? I don't know, but it essentially it's more efficient, and it just provides a better experience, in my opinion. This is a objective thing that we're talking about here, so I'm gonna relinquish the rest of my time.
Okay. All right. Well,
I feel like the only truly objective thing that was brought up was the fact that reading's better for your brain.
I think that's a theory that has a lot of studies and work that's gone into it, and sure, there's a lot of evidence that shows that, but I don't believe that evidence.
Okay. You're doing all the things.
I've never seen the numbers.
Never seen the numbers.
I've never seen the numbers.
That's just a theory, because you don't know what a theory is when it comes to science. So
yeah. A lot of people say it, but I don't know if we necessarily need to believe that.
The great thing about science is, until it's proven wrong, which for certain things it never has, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, it's still true.
Well, fun thing about science, sorry to interject here, a lot of stuff is still considered like theory. Very, very like strong theory that hasn't necessarily been disproven. Like there's a lot of like the theory of relativity, for instance, like a lot of physics is technically theory, but like it just works so well. So that's all I was gonna say. Sorry.
On the note of Game of Thrones again, just to finish the thought, and this kind of, I'm not debating anymore, but it does harken back to a point that I made earlier. Even though Martin had a huge hand in like setting up how things looked and how things were, there were still things that like could have been done through special effects or makeup that weren't done. The appearance of, say, like Daenerys Targaryen or Tyrion Lannister. Their specific appearances could have been more accurate to the book description if they had done things with makeup or special effects. So even though they had the source material and they had the guy there being like, this is the way it's supposed to be, and those things were within their excruciatingly large budgets, they still didn't do it.
That's big. So listen, where they came short there, they should have used AI.
I think it's time for us to move on. We're moving on.
Yo, get Google VO3 on the case.
Where's Grok? So
Grok, run the numbers.
We're moving to hold the presses. Pause for transition that does not exist.
Were we supposed to close that session out?
No, I mean, no. We're still in the same episode. Yeah.
Oh, we're just moving
we're just moving on. I'm done with your malarkey.
That's it. We're done with this segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. I've moved on.
What the fuck?
We can
audio listeners. That was jarring for me.
I mean, we can take the lid off the jar and go back if we want to.
I mean, here's the thing.
Let's move on.
Here's the thing. I think that deriving a winner from that one would be extremely difficult to do.
Like it is every other time we have arguments about stuff.
It was a completely objective thing to be arguing about. There was clearly a side that was correct there.
Yeah, it was mine.
super objective.
Let us know in comments or polls or whatever mediums you guys have to contact us who you think won that debate and which side you land on, regardless of who you thought won.
If I see enough like where it's statistically significant evidence that there's a clear winner, a point will be allotted.
Yes, those points that we've been tracking this whole time.
Listen. I think now is a good time to remind everyone that the points do mean something.
We've just never done anything that would incorporate the fact that we have points yet.
The points lead to humiliation.
Get so many points.
Okay, there are humiliations on this show, and eventually one is going to happen. I haven't checked point totals in a while.
I just want to sit here and say I've definitely given out the most points to you guys. So I know I'm losing.
I handed points to you guys when the last Does It Law. I handed out a bunch of points, yeah.
Canonically, the listeners / viewers have no idea what
that's true. There's another segment called Does It Law that's coming to a podcast near you. And there are a lot of points that are given.
Have those not aired yet? I feel like we've had a Does It Law come out.
I don't even think we've uploaded one to the repositories yet. Okay, we should move on. This is a lot of editing for our editor this week. To deal with.
It's always me.
Well, it's going to be me next week. It's okay, but I only have to deal with one. All right, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold the presses.
Which we totally have a transition for that's not coming in post.
Hold the presses, see?
Hold the presses. This story has got to run.
So yeah,
okay, now
that transition was really cool and interesting.
Damn. Okay.
That was so cool. I really like what the editor did with that little clip that they threw in there with the people like reacting. That was so cool.
He's gone.
Rude.
Oh. What the hell just happened?
I don't know. You disappeared for a second.
Yeah, I had to go take a moment. I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. So, in this segment of Hold the Presses, we are going to be covering one Mr. Donald J. Trump, who, our fine listeners, if you have not been paying attention recently, he's been having what we call a bit of a crash out. Specifically, he has been saying a lot of things. Let me see if I can find one Memorial Day tweet that I'm going to read out for you guys, because this tweet was really, really something.
Does he have a crash out that was like covered in video?
There's the taco thing.
Oh, I mean,
that
I don't know about the taco.
I can,
but I know about the tweet.
So there's the Memorial Day
like
tweet.
We could react to it live.
The most recent thing.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
That is something we have the ability to do.
We can do that. You're right about that.
We can pull up a YouTube video and watch it.
All right. If someone sends me the link while Justin talks about this, I can.
I just am looking for this silly little tweet he had on Memorial Day.
So you want me to send you the video about the taco thing?
Whoever gets it first, me or you.
The video.
Found a video that says Trump beefs with reporter over taco tariff. I just think the wording there is perfect.
Yeah, do that. That's probably the one that we're talking about. The one that I was talking about.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah. So, for anybody who can't watch the video that the Clown is watching right now, and if you're not informed about this, Wall Street has taken to labeling certain things in the category of taco, things that have to do with Donnie T's tariffs and the way the market is acting because of those tariffs. I believe they call them taco trades, and taco stands for Trump always chickens out, because of his apparent yo-yoing on tariffs, placing giant tariffs on the entire world, including an island that is only inhabited by penguins, and then backing off those tariffs and then putting more tariffs on because he heard something in a news site video, or he saw a movie or something and decided, I'm going to put tariffs on other things. And then he was like, oh, wait, this will literally destroy the global economy, which apparently I kind of want. So I'm going to have less tariffs now because we made a deal and I fixed the problem that I made. So that's a thing. That's
Okay, I also have the tweet now.
Yeah.
Do we want that first?
Yeah, if you want to just screen share that real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna screen share it.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of you on that. And then we should read this in the voice too.
God.
okay. I got this. Ready?
Why is this always
All right, go ahead.
always all caps?
So it's in all caps. It's in all. I'm not going to yell it.
Dude, you have to.
Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left minds, who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country, many of them being criminals and the mentally insane, through an open border that only an incompetent president who would approve, and though judges who are on a mission to keep we're probably gonna have to bleep all this out, gang members had released prisoners from all over the world into our country so they can rob and again, all protected by these USA hating judges who suffer from an ideology that is sick and very dangerous for our country. Hopefully, the United States Supreme Court and other good and compassionate judges throughout the land will save us from the decisions of the monsters who want our country to go to hell. But fear not. What? Okay, but fear not. We have made great progress over the last 4 months, and America will soon be safe and great again. Again. Happy Memorial Day, and God bless America.
Lovely. Lovely. Round of applause, please.
You couldn't see it, but the entire time my hands were underneath the doing this.
Which of course garnered 11.9k retweets.
This was on
Of course it is. He
Of
doesn't
course
tweet.
it's
He
not.
doesn't really tweet things anymore, from what I understand, or they just like
God.
copy paste what he truths on his social network.
I just want to know when we're gonna be done campaigning.
Never, because he's gonna go for a third
It's never
term.
done.
Careful. Don't wish that on.
I don't wish
into
it
the
on
world.
anyone anywhere.
You wish
But the
it
problem is,
into the world. It'll be.
But the problem is they've already talked about it. They've already been like, we're looking at ways to see if I can run
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
He's
find
got to be
ways.
memeing, right? He's got to be
No.
memeing.
No,
I
don't say
think
that. That is
there's a level. To
that is the bad
but-
thing. No. Don't ever claim that Donald Trump is memeing, because that's how we got his first term. Okay? Everybody's like,
That actually, what's crazy about that is I'm pretty sure his first term, he went into that first term thinking, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just here for the press.
everybody
because
looked at him.
Wasn't there like he was like working on a project, I think, like The Apprentice or something. Like a new season of The Apprentice, and he wanted to get the press. And then suddenly, like, for some reason, he started getting backers, either because like they thought he was
and
funny,
it kept happening, and everybody looked at like, oh, there's no way. Oh, damn, it
Yeah.
happened. And now we're here. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I found that video you were looking for. We're gonna live react to this. We've done a live react.
I didn't see the
before.
Space Force flag in the back there.
This
Yeah,
live
he did
react
that.
is going to blow our last live react out of the water.
Yeah, for those of you who could call back to the episode where Ian reacts to dark gothic MAGA Elon Musk, and he's just like, "Oh, this will be a step up from that."
Yeah, that's true. Sorry,
right.
Apple Podcast listeners, although you do get the audio.
Yeah. All right,
You do get the audio.
Here we go.
That's true. All right, let's dive in.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th.
Anytime.
You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country.
All right, hold on, pause. There's just so much going on, and I just want to comment on this. See, the thing is, the Trump always chickens out. It might not even be about China. Let's go back to January, where he imposed, what was it, like 50% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and then he said, like, the stipulations were you have to increase border security and all this.
You have to do all these things that you were going to do anyway.
Yeah. And then, like, even before that, I think he quote unquote imposed tariffs on Canada. And then, like, they imposed tariffs back, and he was like, nah, actually, we're not going to do it, guys.
Yeah. They imposed tariffs back, and then they were threatening to shut off power to like 3 states.
Like, I had this crazy idea. We're actually not going to tariff Canada.
I love how he was like, I said 140% tariff that I set. Like, just admitting, like, yeah, you're the one who caused the problem. Then lowered it to 50%, then changed it to another number because I can't remember anything. I don't remember what I do.
I just wanted to call that out because I don't think the Trump always chickens out is necessarily about these China.
No, it's not specifically China. It does have to do with the tariff stuff. Can I also point out, like, Janine Pirro just, like, nervously looking around the whole time?
Dude, she's admiring the back of his head. Clear. It's
true.
so clear.
She's looking for the seam.
For the seam.
The seam's on the front. We've seen it. Thank you. Who was it? Jimmy Fallon. That's the only time I'll ever thank that man. All right, let's dive back in. We have a lot more to go here.
Anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, "You got the hottest we have the hottest country in the world right now."
Bro.
Since he's talking about Saudi Arabia, just a quick thing on like the $14 trillion worth of investments. That number has like quadrupled since the last time I heard them throw out a number in like the trillions. Like, any reporting that's been done on this, like financial reporting from those governments, is in like the hundreds of billions, not trillions. But every time this guy brings it up, it's just a bigger number. So much money. $14 trillion is going to get rid of all of our debt.
I swear, every time he brings up Biden's term in office, it's always a bigger number of immigrants that came through the border.
Yeah.
Anyway.
6 months ago, this
quadrillion immigrants.
I honestly think maybe part of it is that he doesn't remember the last number he said, so he just picks a number that he knows is bigger than the one that he said before, so he doesn't get it wrong.
And then the way he like covers for himself, he's like, it could be more. I think.
Yeah, it could be more. Yes, I don't know. I'm the president of the United States, with the amount of times they say I don't know something is kind of crazy.
I don't know what it is.
No. That's hyperbole. I don't know.
I don't know. That's what they're saying. I don't know.
Could be something.
This country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things. And you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever. And they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead. To me, that's the nastiest question.
That's the nastiest
Such a
question.
nasty question. Look, the reporter was literally like, hey, other people are saying this about you. What do you think about that?
What a nasty question, dude. Anytime it's anything critical of him, I swear, it's always the same thing. What a nasty question.
Well, you're fake news. Doesn't matter. Go away.
Who are you with?
Yeah, who are you with?
That's one of my
I'm just writing that down for later.
He says,
ooh, that's a high number. Not like I didn't put it
Gotta
there.
talk about
It's
the
a high
truth
number.
later. Gotta retruth that later.
Truth.
Man, yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a good experience. Yeah. It's a little concerning that the leader of the country seems so susceptible to slights. I really think that's just the big takeaway is that
oh fuck, they know who I am now.
What? Okay. Oh, because you had
my profile icon was shown.
We can superimpose something on top of that. It doesn't have to.
It's over. They're gonna find my.
They're gonna dox you.
Content. Yeah, they're gonna find my 2 videos that I've ever made.
Again, we can just superimpose something over the top of it. It's not going to be a big old deal.
Nah, it's cool. I don't really care.
Okay. Well. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty good. Hold the presses stuff.
Accountable, yeah, for giving those nasty questions.
Yeah, you got to hold them accountable for that, man.
The very nasty question of what do you think?
The Trump crash out continues. Saying, the biggest crash out. Nobody crashes out like he does.
Can I just say, a lot of people have already covered this already, but there's a specific purpose for Memorial Day, remembering fallen soldiers. And this man said Happy Memorial Day twice, and then that was 2 super thin slices of bread. It was just a sandwich of rage at everybody and everything other than the topic of what we were supposed to be talking about. He could have even raged about the fact that soldiers died in pointless whatevers and Biden was awful because people died. They didn't even do that. He just was everybody's scum and they're awful and blah blah blah. Biden and
the Democrats,
man. Come on, man.
What did I hear him saying about the Democrats before? Some sort of bill. I guess there's some sort of bill that they're working on. He said it's got 0 voters from the Democratic side.
Yeah, it's the big beautiful bill.
The big beautiful bill.
I don't know what that bill is.
It does so many. Bill. It's basically a tax bill. It's like a tax
is it
budget
the one
bill
with the quote unquote no tax on
it's that, yeah.
Overtime?
But
great. Let's defund more of our government.
Well, there's that, but also there's that whole thing. But if you look at the nomenclature of the bill, on average, people who make less money are going to pay more in taxes.
I'd have to look into it.
Dude, that's kind of base.
It's kind of like what the entire Republican Party has done for the past 50 years.
I think his claim is that the taxes on lower and middle income housing should go down. Based on that's just what he said about it. So either he's lying or whoever wrote that bill is incompetent.
Both answers could be correct.
I can't. Oh, I can't talk on it because I just opened up something about Mark Rubio on accident.
That's-
I can't talk on it.
That's a whole separate thing, and we can talk about that. That's, oh my god, there's so much to talk about in this sphere that we've just like cracked open and kind of just taken the first couple of granules of crazy out. There's so much to talk about, and like I've been trying to stay away from it for so long because we're like we should be, you know, apolitical, and it's just been nearly impossible in the society that we live in to be completely apolitical, and we've kind of just cracked the egg a little bit, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, everyone has been asking us to show our political affiliation.
That is true.
Well,
we
this isn't so much a political affiliation as it is a
opinion.
What's this guy? This guy's crashing out.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
what's
mean?
what's
he
happening
doing?
here.
Clearly, we are a biased, left, super far extreme leftist. But also, if you talk to Hassan, you know, we're gonna be far right.
Enemy of the show, Hassan Piker.
Enemy of the show. Shout out Hassan Piker. We hate you.
I don't know who you are, so I can't hate you.
We could talk about that.
You guys have told me who he
we
is,
could
but I
talk
don't
about that.
like. Hate's such a strong word. Anyway,
I think you will hate
I
him
think
once.
we could talk about that.
There's so much to talk about, but we are so out of time. So,
in fact, now that we're talking heads and we can do presentations and reacts, we can really talk about that.
Oh God, we're gonna get demonetized.
Yeah, because we ever got monetized in the first place.
We're monetized.
Okay.
But yeah, we could play a lot. We have. There's so much dirt on this guy.
Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode in this new format that you guys are seeing for the first time. Have a good rest of your day, night, week, whatever you need it to be. Thanks for listening, and until next time, bye.
Welcome to Humor Highwire.